Hi, welcome. It's me, Amaris, and we'll be reacting to an American progressive metal band that formed in Washington in 1980 called Queensrÿche. The name of the song we'll be listening to and reacting to for the first time is titled Eyes of a Stranger off of their third studio album titled Operation Mindcrime, released May 3rd in 1988. So the band members are Geoff Tate, vocals, DeGarmo, guitar, Michael Wilton, guitar, Eddie Jackson, bass, and Scott Rockenfield, drums. This is my third time that I will be reacting to Queensrÿche, and I'm more than ecstatic to listen to them. So thank you so much, everyone, and let's get started. Dr. Davis. That was a very spooky and intense intro. Is this some sort of nightmare? It seems like he woke up from some sort of night terror, and the person screaming, "I don't want to say goodbye," is quite haunting. Is someone passing over, or do they have to pull the plug and the lady's like, don't do it, but everyone else has agreed to it? I'm not too sure. However, hospitals could be quite intense with so much, of that. And first of all, if you see a doctor like that, my advice is, hear multiple voices.
Time I try to leave it behind me, I see something that reminds me of you.
Pretty eyes.
Every night the dreams return to haunt me, your rosary wrapped around your throat. I lie awake and sweat, afraid to fall asleep. I see your face looking back at me. Looking back at me.
Woo! Go down.
And I raise my head and stare into the eyes of a stranger.
Don't you just love how powerful and impactful his voice is? It really cuts through your soul, through your heart, through your mind, and takes you on a journey with him. I love how they all spin in unison and how he appeared like a ghost. This doctor appears to be up to something, and anyhow, his voice, and I love it. It seems like they're in a hospital, but it's in black and white, and it appears to be a maze of some sort. Like a trapped soul inside of a maze in a hospital or something. I'm not too sure. I'm just my imagination.
I've always known that the mirror never lies. People always turn away from the eyes of a stranger, afraid to know what lies behind the stare.
That was an intense lyric. Straight jacket memories, sedative highs. Is that all that's left for me? You know? Some people, we feel like we're going crazy and sometimes feel the highs and lows of life. Like, is that all that's left for me? Is there something more for us? Or is it just the insanity of it all? That was amazing duet of guitars, literally. Is this guy reacting to the crime plan? He's reacting to it. How did they get footage? Was there like a secret camera in there? Someone set him up. There was a secret camera. There had to be. Otherwise, how would they have this? Someone set him up. Secret, you know, camera. Somebody was a spy or somebody, an undercover. Anyways, this guitar, these two, I love Queensrÿche guitar so much. It sounds so much different from other bands. Other bands are just as great, but there's just something about this. And didn't Chris DeGarmo go on to be a private jet pilot? That's so cool. All right, I love this storyline. He's reacting. How many times must I live this tragedy? How many more lies will they tell me? All I want is the same as everyone. Why am I here? And for how long? And I raise my head and stare into the eyes of a stranger. I've always known that the mirror never lies. People always turn away from the eyes of a stranger, afraid to know what lies behind the stare. He got set up. Never trust a crooked person. Queensrÿche didn't even fail to impress me. They always prove themselves to be more than amazing, beyond amazing. Geoff's vocals go from infinity to beyond and don't even end after beyond. They just keep going and going and going. And I'm really blown away by this song and the music video. I love the storyline that they have. It's quite confusing. It was just really amazing. From what I got is they're in a hospital, and I love how Geoff Tate kind of appeared like a mirage, an apparition. If you look at the video again, he kind of like slowly appeared, faded in. And it looks like they're in a hospital, but like a maze, like trapped souls singing. And, you know, in the beginning, the screaming and you know, people's pain. And so you could hear the pain of the woman saying, I don't want to say goodbye. And then you could hear like somebody say something kind of like in a scary voice. And then you could hear people chatting, which, you know, in a hospital, the scary voice could have been like a bad entity or some sort. And that doctor, I would not trust him. If that was my doctor and I went to the hospital, I would be like, you know, I need a new doctor or I'm going elsewhere. What I'm getting from this video, the young man who was, you know, with the crooked doctor, the doctor was assigning him like an operation and he felt confident in doing it, but you could still see within his eyes that he didn't have full confidence, but the doctor, you know, kind of was setting him up. And the thing about that is a lot of people need to learn discernment. You don't learn it, but you acquire it throughout life. Someone could look completely innocent, friendly, laughing, and have the most horrible intentions. But a lot of people don't know how to read people. I think I can read people pretty well. You know, the young man, he was lighting candles, and then it would go back to the lady who was in the church, and it seemed like he wanted to pick up the phone to perhaps call her, contact her, but he was too ashamed of what he was doing. So he couldn't look in the mirror. Like when he was looking in the mirror, he didn't even recognize himself anymore. He was just a stranger because he was doing all these things that that woman probably wouldn't want him to be doing. And she was like sending him good vibrations and wishing him well. However, he kept going down a bad road and he didn't have the courage to call her because he was ashamed of himself. And that's why he was having nightmares. He didn't have anybody to talk to except for that man who was setting him up all along, trying to get him into trouble, trying to make him take the blame. So be careful who you trust. The most smiling person could be the one out to try to destroy you, as we learned from this music video. And I love the storytelling of Queensrÿche. I can't wait to hear some more songs from Operation Mindcrime. It sounds like it's a storyline, like they're telling a story. I'm not sure if I'm catching on to it, but I want to hear more. And is there anything else I could say about it? Yeah, just like when he was lighting the candles, that was his way of, you know, being in contact with that woman without having to call her because he was just so ashamed of what he was doing. He was this stranger in the mirror. I'm sure some of us have looked in the mirror, not even recognize ourselves because, you know, you did something you're ashamed of or sad, depressed, and you're like, that's not me, you know? So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this song, and I truly did. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, lovely night.